Let's dive into this one. We've got some really fascinating notes here today. Starts out super normal, almost, everyday stuff.
Right.
And then it just takes this sharp left turn into something genuinely creepy. So, picture this. You've got this young guy, Shin, and his uncle. They're out digging a lake, trying to get it done for fish farming before the rainy season hits.
Yeah, tough work.
Yeah.
The notes mention stony ground, they're getting worn out.
Exactly. You can almost feel it, right? The heat, the effort, just hard labor.
Absolutely. And what's interesting is how that very relatable theme, the physical struggle, the deadline, it sets the stage, makes the weirdness stand out even more when it arrives.
And it arrives. So Shin's digging and he hits this pile of soil that just looks wrong.
Like a grave, the notes say.
Yeah, like a grave. So he tells his uncle, naturally, and the uncle's first reaction is just, weird, let's check it out.
Curiosity, right? Not fear yet.
Not yet. They call it a dirt bar, this lump of earth they have to move. And when they shift it, bam, there's a statue underneath. Completely derails their whole fish farm plan.
Totally. And think about it. They're focused on, practical stuff, survival, food, and suddenly, boom, mystery. The uncle's like, who the heck buries a statue out here? That's the moment things shift.
Right. And it's not just like a misshapen rock or something. It's described as beautifully made, a statue with a human face, a woman's face. Both of them are just struck by it. The uncle thinks, hey, maybe this is worth something.
Valuable, yeah.
So he gets Shin to help him dig it out properly. And as they clear the last bit of dirt, the description is really vivid. A gorgeous statue, looks like an Asian woman. Shin's just amazed by how well crafted it is.
Makes you wonder, right? Who made it? Why bury it there?
Exactly, this shared moment of awe. They're seeing the beauty, the potential value.
But that's often the hook in these stories, isn't it? The initial attraction, the curiosity. It draws you in before the scary part hits.
You are not kidding. So the uncle's looking closer, really examining it, and then he looks into the statue's eyes.
And that's the trigger.
That's it, instant change. He's startled, eyes wide, like pure horror. Backs away fast.
Like he's seen a ghost.
Pretty much. His voice is shaking and he just blurts out, "We are going to die!" Just like that.
Whoa.
And Shin's just standing there totally lost. Like, what just happened? It's such a sudden, extreme reaction.
Well, that kind of instant gut level fear, it often suggests, a deeper recognition, maybe something subconscious clicks. He knows it's dangerous, even if you can't explain why. It's not just the object itself.
Definitely feels that way. And the uncle is scrambling. He's stuttering, telling Shin, grab it, take it deep in the forest, now.
Urgent, panicked.
Totally. Shin's confused, obviously, but he listens. He doesn't argue, just does it, even though he tries to ask what's going on.
But the uncle's not explaining.
Nope. Just hurry, bury it, fast. The fear is just overriding everything else.
That obedience from Shin is interesting too, even when he's bewildered. Maybe it's respect for his elder, or just shock.
Could be. And the uncle's fear, it's so intense he can't even articulate it. Sometimes the worst dread is like that, right? Beyond words.
Exactly.
So they drag this beautiful, apparently terrifying statue deep into the woods, dig another hole, put it in.
And the uncle's covering it up.
Yeah, but he's not just shoveling, he's muttering. Begging for forgiveness, the notes say.
Okay. So he feels they did something wrong, transgressed somehow.
Seems like it. Shin's watching this, and he's never seen his uncle like this, ever. He just can't get his head around being that scared of, a statue, an object.
Right. The disconnect is huge. The beauty versus the terror. Those pleas for forgiveness suggest he thinks they disturbed something sacred, or maybe cursed, something that should have stayed buried. The reburial is like a desperate attempt to put the lid back on.
So they get that done, head back home quick. And that night, things get even stranger.
Of course they do.
The weather just flips. Suddenly gets freezing cold, nasty wind starts howling out of nowhere.
Like nature itself is reacting.
Yeah. You see that a lot in these kinds of stories, don't you? The supernatural linked to, disturbances in the weather.
It's a classic element. A physical sign that the natural order, or maybe the supernatural order, has been upset. It amps up the unease, makes you feel like something is really wrong.
And it is wrong. Middle of the night, the uncle wakes up, hears footsteps outside.
Oh boy.
He creeps over to the window, trying not to wake his wife, peeks out, and there's Shin.
Oh no.
Just opening the gate, walking out into the night. Like he's sleepwalking, completely zoned out, leaves the door wide open behind him.
Leaving the safe space vulnerable.
Totally. The uncle's instantly suspicious. He just knows something is deeply wrong.
Yeah.
What does that kind of sleepwalking signify here, do you think?
Well, in these narratives, it often means loss of control, right? Like something else is pulling the strings. The open door, yeah, it's symbolic. The barrier between safety and the danger outside is just gone.
So the uncle throws on a jacket, rushes out into the total darkness. He's looking, calling. Shin's just vanished, like impossibly fast.
Wow.
And then this like awful feeling hits the uncle. A shudder premonition is how the notes put it. He just knows where Shin went.
Back to the statue.
Back to the statue.
Yeah.
He bolts for the forest, desperate, needs to find him before sunrise. That dread is palpable.
Absolutely. He knows instinctively this is connected. And it's bad. The clock is ticking.
And yeah, his worst fears, they're confirmed.
Yeah.
He finds Shin back at the burial spot, on his knees, just digging like crazy.
Oh, man.
He calls out, but Shin doesn't react at all. Just digging. The uncle gets closer and sees his hands. They're torn up, bleeding.
From the digging. Jeez.
And the statue, it's starting to reappear from the dirt. The uncle's yelling, "Stop, Shin, stop!" But Shin just keeps going, and he's got this like haunting smile on his face.
Ugh, that's creepy. The pain, but also that smile.
So unsettling.
Yeah, that contrast. Physical agony, but this weird, detached expression.
Yeah.
Classic sign of possession, or some kind of overpowering influence. He's not himself, and he needs to get that statue out again.
The uncle tries to grab him, pull him away, but Shin just screams like in pain, and then turns on his uncle, attacks him.
Attacks his own uncle.
Yeah, and he's screaming hysterically that the statue is his wife.
Okay, he's completely gone, lost.
Totally lost. The uncle can barely handle him. Shin suddenly got this like unnatural strength. It's a struggle just to get him back to the house.
Wow, that violence, that delusion. It shows how deep this thing has sunk its claws in.
Back at the house, Shin's behavior is just bizarre. He's sitting on his bed, clutching a pillow, smiling at it, cuddling it like it's a person, like a lover.
Yikes.
The uncle's just broken. He finally tells his wife everything that happened. The digging, the statue, the forest.
And her reaction?
Immediate horror. She asks, terrified, is it the haunting statue? The one the villagers talk about?
So she knows the legend.
Instantly. She gets it right away. Shin's possessed. The old stories are real. This statue, apparently, it targets young men. Haunts them, literally to death.
That recognition from the wife is key, isn't it? It validates everything. I mean, this isn't just some random one-off crazy event. There's a history, a known danger.
Exactly. And because she knows the legend, she knows what they might be able to do.
Okay.
They need an old black dog for an exorcism. It's based on their ancestral traditions.
An old black dog, specifically.
Yeah, she stresses it has to be an old dog. Apparently, the age is important for the incantation or ritual to work.
Huh. Interesting detail. In a lot of traditions, age means wisdom, or maybe a stronger connection to like the spirit world. So an old dog might carry more protective power in their belief system.
Could be. So the uncle runs off to the next village, finds one, brings this old black dog back.
Okay, the tension must be sky high.
You bet. The dog comes in, sees Shin on the bed, and just fixates on him. Starts growling low, then barking really loudly.
The dog senses it.
Seems like it. And Shin, he freaks out. Absolutely terrified. He's trembling, backing away, clutching his pillow, cries out. And then, just as the dog stops barking, he faints, collapses.
Wow. So the dog's reaction confirms the presence of something evil.
Yeah.
And Shin, or whatever's influencing Shin, reacts violently to it.
Exactly. The dog acts like a kind of supernatural alarm system, validates the wife's fear. So Shin eventually wakes up. But he's totally confused, he's in a lot of pain, looks down, sees his hands are all scratched up, wounded, fingertips swollen.
And he doesn't remember.
Not a thing. Zero memory of digging, attacking his uncle, any of it. After finding the statue, it's just blank.
Classic amnesia. Trauma response, maybe. Or the influence itself, wiping the memory.
All he remembers is having this weird recurring, well, he calls it a dream.
The subconscious trying to process it.
Seems like it. And the dream is... Yeah, it's chilling. He remembers being woken up by this woman's voice calling from far away.
Deductive.
Alluring, yeah. Pulling him out of the house like he couldn't resist, like some force was just controlling him. It draws him back to the forest, back to where they buried the statue. And there, he sees this shadowy figure, a woman kind of floating in midair, giving off this weird green light.
Green light? Often linked to the otherworldly, spirits, fairies, that kind of thing. Not always friendly. The voice, the control, very manipulative.
Then it gets really terrifying in the dream. This woman comes closer, strokes his face like she's tempting him.
Allure.
But then she suddenly grabs him from behind, sticks out this long long, pecks snake-like tongue and licks his neck. And as she does, she reveals her true form, a female demon, sharp yellow teeth, about to bite him.
Nightmare fuel. The beautiful facade drops, reveals the monster, the snake tongue, the teeth. Classic demonic imagery. The bite would be about draining life force, maybe? Or full possession?
Right before she bites, though, poof, a black dog appears out of nowhere in the dream, barks like crazy, and the demon gets scared, vanishes.
So the dog saves him in the dream too.
Yeah.
Mirrors the real event. Confirms his protective power against this specific entity.
His aunt then tells him, look, that wasn't just a dream. Your uncle found you out there, digging.
The confirmation. Must have been terrifying for Shin.
Totally. But he's still got questions, right? Who was that ghost? Why pick him? That lingering why me after something traumatic.
Absolutely. Even if the immediate danger's past, you need answers. You need to make sense of something that seems senseless.
So finally, the uncle sits him down and tells him the whole story. The legend of the widow statue.
Here it comes.
Years ago, apparently, there was this woman in the village. Incredibly beautiful, but also dangerous. A temptress.
Yeah.
She seduced basically all the married men, ruined families, took their money, their stuff, just caused chaos and heartbreak.
Okay, so there's a motive for revenge.
A powerful one. Eventually, the women of the village, full of rage, had enough. They banded together and burned her house down with her inside.
Wow. Violent end. That explains the vengeful spirit, that kind of betrayal and rage. It festers.
Yeah. And not long after she died, a guy, probably Blanc, claims he saw her ghost. And the description is horrific. Badly burnt, hardly any hair left, just these wide, white, staring eyes.
Yikes. Not the beautiful temptress anymore.
Not at all. They even got a shaman, apparently, to try and banish her spirit, but it didn't work. She was too strong, too full of hate, so she just started haunting the area, especially men who were out alone at night.
But then they found her weakness.
Exactly. The villagers noticed she couldn't stand black dogs. If one was around, she'd back off, disappear instantly.
So black dogs became protection.
Yeah, everyone started keeping them. A simple, practical defense against this powerful ghost.
It shows how folklore adapts, provides tools for dealing with the scary stuff. The shaman failing also shows just how potent this spirit was meant to be.
And here's the final, really twisted piece. The uncle explains that over time, fueled by all that hatred, the widow's spirit didn't just stay a ghost. It morphed, became a kind of demon, creating the life force, the vitality of men. And to keep her beautiful appearance, the one she used to lure men in life, and to keep targeting young guys, she somehow poured her essence, her demonic power, into that statue, turned herself into this cursed object.
So the statue was her, in a way, preserving her beauty, continuing her revenge.
That's the legend. And ever since, any young man unlucky enough to dig it up gets haunted, becomes her next target. It ties it all together, the beauty, the danger, the specific targeting.
It does. It's a cycle of vengeance, isn't it?
Yeah.
Playing out through this object. And that vanity, wanting to stay beautiful even as a demon statue, adds another layer of creepy.
So the uncle finishes telling Shin all this. By now, the sun's come up. Shin, as you can imagine, is terrified.
Wouldn't you be?
Absolutely. The uncle decides, look, let's keep this quiet. Don't want to start a panic in the village. But he definitely warns his own kids. Stay away from that spot in the forest. Don't go near it.
Understandable. Protect your own, avoid mass hysteria. But the knowledge is there, underground, like the statue itself.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? Hearing a story like that, what kind of pain, what kind of deep, burning rage could twist someone into something so malevolent, something that lasts long after they're gone. And, it makes you wonder, are there other stories like this? Maybe less dramatic, but similar tales of old wounds, old hatreds, buried just under the surface in our own communities, forgotten things, waiting.
Well, it's definitely something to ponder long after we wrap up this deep dive.